What's going on, everyone? So Rajon Rondo has officially announced his retirement from the NBA. I don't think that this was hugely surprising. I don't think this was shocking to anybody, given his age and how long his absence has been from the league. You kind of knew that this was coming sooner rather than later, but it is official. And Rajon Rondo, I mean, he's all-time great. He's going to go down as one of the greatest true point guards ever. He has multiple championships under his belt. One with the Boston Celtics. That's where he emerged, broke on the scene, became that all-star level point guard. Times was like, hey, him and Chris Paul, right? And then, also guys like Darren Williams back then. It was like, man, these guys are like the real point guards in this league. Eventually, he moseyed his way to the Lakers and ended up winning a championship with the Lakers, which we'll touch on here in a moment. But no, he's also only the second player in history of the league to win with both the Celtics and the Lakers, which is a huge feat in and of itself. Two historically great, not only rivals, but sports franchises, period, in all sports, right? And playoff Rondo was a real thing. I mean, how many spectacular moments have we seen from Rajon over the years? Just the IQ and basketball mind that he has. He's one of the smartest basketball minds we've ever seen. And you saw that with the 2020 team, with this Lakers roster that ended up winning the most recent NBA championship. And it was just such a luxury to have a guy like LeBron James, his IQ, the way he can break things down, and then when he goes to the bench or even alongside of him, add that other just big brain to the lineup, and be able to make plays and be as versatile as Rajon Rondo was in the bubble and in the playoffs. I mean, he was lights out from three too, and he's not like this 3-point specialist, but all of a sudden he became a sniper. You love to see it, right? He was just really spectacular for the Lakers, and just throughout his career. I mean, even like with the Pelicans, right? Playoff Rondo was a real thing. When people thought he was washed, all of a sudden he gets into the playoffs and he just switches gears, right? He was one of those big time guys that isn't afraid of the moment, that actually elevates and is even greater in the moment. And he goes down as one of the greats. So he definitely deserves his flowers. But as far as Rajon Rondo goes, one of the things that I've seen a lot of people throw out, even LeBron James, right, is Rajon Rondo being a coach. And that very likely could be the next step, right? He is a guy that, again, has such a brilliant basketball mind, the way he breaks down and calculates, how he's even talked about how he wasn't trying to beat the players. He was trying to beat the coach. He was trying to outsmart, outthink, perform the coach and their adjustments, right? That's what you want. You want that tactician. You want that guy that is out there moving the chess pieces and, laying out the master plan. So to see Rondo potentially transition into that coaching role, I do think makes a lot of sense, right? Now, does a team kind of just go the like Jason Kidd, Steve Nash route, where it's like, oh, here you go, here's a right out the gate, here's a actual head coaching job. Even a guy like a Derek Fisher, basically just jumped into a coaching job, and they've had a lot of point guards try to go do coaching jobs, and we've seen not every NBA player translates well into being a quality coach. You think of somebody like Ty Lue is one of the examples currently that's like, a point guard that turned coach that has been an excellent type of head coach and is revered as one of the best in the league. But you see, like, even just being a guard or being a point guard or being an excellent all-time great player doesn't always translate to being a great head coach. Right? A lot of great head coaches were just kind of casual players, or in some cases just kind of analytic guys, right? So I'm not saying Rondo won't be that. It's just something to keep in mind when you're talking about coaches. Now, Rondo and me personally, this is my personal thoughts, I think Rondo would make an excellent coach. You've seen him, basically be out there and navigate and basically coach various teams he's been on in moments. Even LeBron, right? Where you just see there's some guys that just have that brain. Not all of them go into coaching, but Rondo and even LeBron at some point you could see potentially being a head coach and being a great head coach. And also you got to think like them just wanting to take on the challenge, right? Like taking on the challenge of being a head coach. But where does this tie into the Lakers outside of, Rajon Rondo being a former Laker and me trying to give him his flowers, is Darvin Ham. Right, Darvin Ham has been very atrocious this season. He's had his good moments, don't get me wrong. I've highlighted those. But for the most part, it's the X's and O's, right? It's the form of execution. I think there are some good qualities of Darvin Ham that make him good as like the face, right? The way he can communicate, the way he is with players, the way a lot of people make fun of him and knock on him for allowing guys like, Anthony Davis to draw up a play, or LeBron James, right? Or you see D'Lo drawing up his game winner and stuff. And, a lot of people will be like, oh, if it wasn't for... I actually think that that's value as a head coach, because you're putting the trust into the players. You're a head coach, right? You're on the sidelines. Yes, you're seeing things. You're trying to get a good view, but you're not actually in the game playing the game, right? And these players are seeing things and doing things and understanding certain mismatches. Oh, man, this guy's bumping me and being a little more physical and aggressive out there that maybe a coach isn't just seeing and missed the crowd, right? Like, there's just little nuanced things that players are going to see and experience that a coach may not even recognize at times, right? Even the greatest of coaches, right? So I love that Darvin Ham has that open communication with his players, does allow his players to, hey, like, there's something I'm seeing, there's something that I think we should execute here, let's try it. And he goes, here you go, do it, right? There are things of value, but he hasn't been good in the X's and O's area. So either A, talked about this, either A, you need to fire him and move on. Or B, you need to bring on somebody that is good with the X's and O's, and you need to bring on what I've thrown out is a head coach, right? A Terry Stotts or something like that. You bring him as the assistant, so Darvin Ham gets to do like the face things and things, but you get somebody that has the analytics, that somebody that has the understanding of like, okay, this lineup isn't going to work. This is not going to do this. Hey, we need it. Now would be a good time to call a timeout, right? Those little things, the little X's and O's that go with being a head coach. It'd be nice to have somebody on the sidelines that understands that and gets that, right? So I've thrown out the idea of going that route. Now, I've seen a lot of people throw out, well, what if the Lakers fire Darvin Ham and bring in Rajon Rondo? Now, a couple things about that, right? Darvin Ham, Luke Walton, even, two guys the Lakers have hired, right, were looked at as the next great coaches. Darvin Ham interviewed for like 12 teams or something like that before he became the Lakers head coach, right? Like, it wasn't like it was the Lakers and that was it. No, like, people were vying at the opportunity to get Darvin Ham. Same thing with a guy like Luke Walton. Where's Luke Walton right now, right? Darvin Ham, right? We'll see what happens with him. He may end up being a great coach. He may end up not, right? Again, these are guys that were looked at as great basketball minds that would be able to translate well from a head coach. They were excellent assistant coaches and now are going to make great head coaches. Doesn't always work out. So my concern is, yes, Rondo coming in, he'd still be a first-year head coach. Does he have those little hiccups? Even if he's better in the sense of the X's and O's, does he still have the flaws that a lot of head coaches have, right? Like, it's just a question and concern. However, maybe instead of making him your head coach, what if you brought him in as the primary assistant and he's operating and handling the X's and O's for the Lakers? He's kind of the tactician, and Darvin Ham is just the public relations guy, right? He's the guy that's talking to the media and kind of great example, right? Jason Kidd, Frank Vogel. Frank Vogel was like the defensive guy and also the head coach, right? But Jason Kidd was the player guy. He was the in many ways the visionary, right? He was the guy that helped kind of shape and mold the offensive side of things. You had this like perfect balance. What if Rondo could be the Jason Kidd to Frank Vogel, right? Like, that could be something that could make a lot of sense for the Lakers, and you kind of marry the two, and now maybe you have a top coaching staff that really does have the all-around. Because Darvin Ham is good at the defensive schemes. Right now, he doesn't really have the defensive players to utilize that, but he has shown if he's given the right pieces, we can be a top defense. So hopefully, or again, just kind of have that balance of like, here's Rondo and his basketball mind, the way that he can kind of operate, give him the assistant job, and then kind of allow things to grow and develop. And then you can always make that switch, right? Like if Darvin Ham still is having his struggles or whatever, and it's like Rondo's really shining, he's the guy. Well, then now you make that easy transition. Or you could just kind of ride it out through Darvin Ham's contract. Darvin Ham now leaves, and then Rondo gets promoted to the head coaching job, where it's like, hey, Rondo, like, come in, be the assistant till Darvin Ham's contract's up. We'll kind of navigate, see how he is. And if you can kind of figure it out and you're ready to go, that kind of gives him a couple years to get comfortable in an actual coaching role as an assistant and then transition into the head coaching role. I think that that's something that the Lakers could potentially look at. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion. I pass a question on to you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? How do you feel? Do you like the idea of Rajon Rondo coming in as an assistant, or maybe coming in as the head coach? Again, what are your thoughts on Rondo? I just fan of Rondo. I'd love to see him be a part of the organization in some capacity. Maybe he would be a great head coach right out the gate. Not saying he won't, right? But I mean, even guys, great example is Eric Spoelstra. All right, is another great example. I mean, came in the league. Now he's looked at as, if not the greatest coach in the NBA currently. But when he came in, I mean, Miami, LeBron, Wade, everyone was like, dude, we need to get rid of this guy. This guy's terrible. Right? So, again, it usually takes guys a little while. But anyway, again, love to hear your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me a lot. So when you enjoy these types of videos, truly appreciate it. Not subscribe to the channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one. Thank you.